I now yield to my colleague from Washington State, Congressman Jim McDermott.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, members, I applaud my colleague from Arizona for bringing this issue to the floor. 45 years ago, I was a part of another era when there was a draft, and everybody was subject to that draft. And in 1975, we stopped that draft, and we changed the nature of our military. We made it an all-voluntary military. What we've done in this country is we've taken 1% of the people and said, you volunteered for this, you go and do this for us. And we buy the guns and the bullets and everything else and send them out there, and when they come back, we don't know them. There's a fascinating book called Breach of Trust by a man named Andrew Basovich. He's a colonel in the United States Army. He lost a son in Iraq, and he has written an incisive account of what the problem today is. The subtitle is How Americans Failed Their Soldiers and Their Country. Now, when they return from war, I know about PTSD because I dealt with it as a psychiatrist with people coming back from Vietnam. The kids that were in Apocalypse Now were the kids that came to clinic. So I saw what people who went through tough war was all about. And what is happening today, in fact, we do it here on this floor, and I'm always uneasy when we do it. We stand up and we have a moment of silence. Well, that's nice, and, you know, we should do it, and we do it. And we thank people for their service. Every veteran finds that as hollow because they didn't go and get us a cup of coffee. They were under orders to go and kill people. And they did it on our behalf. And we bear the responsibility for sending them out there to do it. Everyone on this floor, all 435 of us, bear the responsibility, as does the American public. And when we receive them back, what do they get? Homelessness, joblessness. They get PTSD that may or may not be treated. We say, oh, well, the Veterans Administration will take care of that. You can't put it off on the Veterans Administration. It is all our responsibility. Sexual assault. The number of sexual assaults, you can see a movie called The Hidden War about what happens to women who are now serving in the military. You can look at the total brain injury. Kids who could do all kinds of things come back and can't remember their phone number. They can't remember what their house address is. And they are suffering from things that have happened to them because of the war that they've been involved with. And what happens to them is they get isolated. They get isolated feeling nobody really understands what's going on with me. And for some, suicide seems like the only way. Now, Native American tribes, more ancient people, understood this, that when they sent warriors out to war, they received them back into the tribe. The samurai did it. There was a whole process by which we brought people back in and cleansed them of the guilt of what they've done on our behalf. That collateral damage you read about or hear about is our responsibility as well as theirs for having actually pulled the trigger. We sent them and they did it on our behalf. We cannot get away from that. And we have put a provision in the National Defense Authorization Act that will create a commission for high-level people to look at how we bring these people back. And it's more than just fixing the process at the VA. That's not enough. There is a much larger process of getting us to accept what we are sending people to do. This recent brush we had with Syria, we were about to send people down there to kill people all over the place and say, well, it was the Air Force that did it. I didn't direct the smart bomb to go in there. Yes, you did. Yes, I did. Yes, all of us did. And so when we talk about suicide and these isolated young men and women who come back and feel there's no other hope, it is a much bigger issue. It's an issue of getting them to come and talk to us and tell us what they've done and accept, as we accept, the grief from that kind of event. I thank you for the time, and I encourage you to read the book, Breach of Trust.
Thank you, Congressman. I now will yield